Does anyone in their mid 20s feel overwhelmed with life? If so, how do you cope? It feels like I'm realizing more and more as I spend time alone with myself about how fast the world is changing and things I need to work on, things I need to do, but somehow I feel overwhelmed and down makes me not want to do anything. And it's such a miserable feeling, it's destroying my confidence and awareness in life. Now, this is something I don't see talked about a lot, but I feel like as a young guy, there is this serious amount of overwhelm that we experience on a day to day basis, feeling as if there is so much to do, yet we just feel like we're unable to do anything. Or at least this is a feeling that I've had and still have somewhat to this day. Because there are so many options, I think, nowadays as a guy, especially with things online where you see all these guys, which, no matter how young they are or whereabouts, you see these guys living a lifestyle that you thought perhaps originally was a fairy tale that, was just ridiculous. But now you see it, now you know it's possible. And you see all this stuff and you realize, right, I want to get that. How do I get that? Right? Or just, I guess, really, for me, I guess, with my experience, it's seeing all my, I don't know, perhaps inadequacies, seeing all of the things that I'm not as good at and that other people are better at me at. And perhaps that then shapes the whole, I need to just, do more stuff. And actually, even reading this post, just really interesting because, you know, he talks about the idea of needing to work on things and needing to do stuff, but just feeling overwhelmed and down, and just effectively makes him not want to do anything. And I've had those moments as well, right? Where just you're trying to sit down to maybe do something intentional, where you have the ambition, but you just don't have the direction. And I think that's fair, right? Because there are so many directions you can go in, right? You can obviously go down a career route, you can go down making a business or like whatever it is, right? And I mean, I spent 2.5 years building a business, which I actually ended up coming to hate. And I've pretty much closed down that business now, and I'm now obviously doing something else. I'm creating content on YouTube and I'm developing my own video game. So it's very different. And I would say that now I'm in a position where I have more direction. But does it mean that I'm not overwhelmed? No. Like, I think to this day, right, there is still that feeling of overwhelm. And I really do resonate with guys. I mean, I've spoken to guys. I mean, one of my close friends, right? Like, there's a lot that can go on, right? You could go down this avenue, you could go down that, and especially with the amount of content coming out lately of people telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing. I think as a young guy, it can just feel like you're never enough. You're never doing enough. And at the end of the day, I mean, I don't particularly have a solution to this because I'm still sort of managing it myself. But I think what's most important is figuring out what you want to do, not what other people tell you that you should do, but what you want to do, right? And that was the big difference for me because now I'm working on things that I'm more aligned with. I want to do this content. I want to develop video games. That's a big difference from feeling like you should do stuff, because I noticed that when I was kept saying to myself that I should do this thing or I have to do this thing, I realized that actually that wording, I didn't like it, right? Whatever that thing was, I didn't like doing that. But when I realized that I was saying, I want to do this thing, I want to work on this, I want to, improve my health, I want to, work on these projects, that made things a lot easier. So I want you to ask yourself a few questions today. Because if you're someone, a young guy that is actually feeling overwhelmed, right? Feeling overwhelmed, and if you can resonate with this guy here, just effectively it's destroying his confidence and awareness in life, right? I think really just the best thing at the moment is just asking yourself deeper questions, right? Not the questions that, belittle you and kick you down, but the questions which try and give you a bit more awareness, right? So asking yourself, well, what stuff would you enjoy doing, right? I mean, perhaps you're, I don't know, in school, college, university right now, or perhaps you're just, doing your own thing. But just ask yourself, what are the things you actually enjoy doing? Just perhaps even jot down your interest and then figure out, what could you do with that, right? What project or thing could you work on, which maybe, if you were consistent enough in it, could turn into something which was meaningful and perhaps you could even make an income from. For me, I jotted down creating content. I enjoy doing that. Speaking on topics which I enjoy talking about, fair enough. I think I could probably go for anyone. Then it was using AI, big fan of that. And then it was playing video games. And when I jotted those down, I was like, yeah, that looks fair enough. And I just figured out, right, well, how can I actually make use of these? And that for me was being able to create content talking about things that I'm passionate about and I enjoy talking about. So in this case, making this YouTube channel. But also it was like, okay, well, playing video games, although it's fun, it's not necessarily productive or, playing lots of it. So I was like, right, well, why don't we try and develop our own video game with the help of AI? And that's what I've been doing for the past, I don't know, 3 months, right? Both of them. And I've been putting that together. And my goal with this is that eventually I will have this YouTube channel monetized. And eventually I will have video games which I release, which I would like to think would also be making me money as well. And that's pretty much my plan at the moment, right? And, I feel pretty confident with it, but at the same time, like, I can resonate with other guys. So ask yourself those questions, right? Because I think just having some level of direction is, well, for me, has been really powerful against the overwhelm. Because if you don't have a sense of direction, and I mean like, pick something and give yourself a commitment to it. Work on it for 30 days, 60 days, maybe even 100 days. But just have some level of commitment to something because it gives a direction for your energy to go. Because I found the most difficult thing with me is when I didn't have direction, my energy went everywhere. And that made me really anxious and just a bit uncomfortable. So ask yourself those questions, figure out the stuff that you genuinely have interest in, and work on projects that give you sense of direction and purpose.